Now, what in the celebrity is going on here? So on my most recent cruise, believe it or not, I got into the most ridiculous argument with a passenger that was on board. Now, this video isn't going to be your typical news and updates that I usually do, because I do believe this story, along with this, I guess you can call it a PSA, is very important because unfortunately, when it comes to being on a cruise ship, you have a group of people that for whatever reason believe that everybody that is on board with them, the potentially thousands of other passengers, shares the same goals and ideas and thought process as them, and well, that's just simply not the case. So yesterday, I just disembarked the Celebrity Reflection cruise ship. As many of you know, I was also on that same exact ship in the beginning of the year in late January, and at that time the ship was doing 7-day sailings. This particular ship is now doing 3 and 4 night sailings or weekend getaways. Now, if you don't know or aren't too familiar with Celebrity Cruises, it is a sister brand within the Royal Caribbean group, and it's their premium product. Premium meaning it is in the category in between luxury and your standard lines. Alongside Celebrity Cruises, you have Princess Cruises, Holland America, and Virgin, just to name a few other premium products. Celebrity Cruises is without a doubt a great cruise line. I have sailed on the Beyond, I've been on the Ascent, and like I said, I've been on the Reflection twice. They have been making some adjustments here and there and trying to bring in a wider age demographic, because when it comes to premium cruise lines, a lot of people will call it, outside of maybe Virgin Voyages, a cruise line for old people, which is not necessarily the case. However, Celebrity's in a weird place and they're making adjustments. The shorter cruises have been doing well at Royal Caribbean, so they're also doing the same thing with itineraries going to Royal Caribbean's private island over in the Bahamas, Coco Cay, and now they have these weekend getaways. And as many of you know, when you have a cruise, I want to say shorter than 5 days and 3 and 4 night sailings, typically we'd call that a booze or party cruise. And for a lot of people, that's why they decided to go on Celebrity. They wanted to be with an older crowd that still had that energy and feel of maybe a little bit of a party, but a more sophisticated party, if you will. But naturally, when you offer shorter sailings at a fraction of the price of a week-long sailing, you are going to attract a wider demographic. And this is something I guess the passenger that I had my encounter with was apparently not too happy with. Anyway, getting on with the story, I do apologize. I feel like I had to kind of set the stage and give all you a little context, especially for all you fine folk out there that have never sailed on a Celebrity cruise, let alone a shorter itinerary with Celebrity. But my cruise on the Reflection would take place between October 25th through October 28th here in October, basically Friday through Monday morning. And when I got on board, the demographic was almost similar to what I experienced when I was on the ship at the beginning of the year, except yes, you had a more so mature crowd than you typically see on your standard line, especially with less kids on board, but they did seem a little bit more energetic. When we got over to the sail away party up on the pool deck, yes, everybody was having a good time, shaking a tail feather, hanging out, just doing what people typically do on a cruise. Everybody was having a good time. Some people were drinking, some people were dancing, some people were lounging, some people were in the hot tub, and I would go to the bar upstairs on the Lido where I would meet a nice group of people. Shout out to Minnesota Mike. Minnesota Mike was one of maybe the 10 people that I was hanging out with, and he'd be showcasing his beautiful, elegant voice, and everybody be drinking and having a good time, and we were having nice conversations about our previous cruises, and people were asking me questions about other lines and what I thought about them and what other cruises that they should also try. To me, it was a pretty flawless start to the cruise. Everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves, or so I thought. So one thing that I think is important to mention, I know you guys know I do this for a living. I'm always on cruise ships. However, I'm not somebody that's running around with my camera 24/7 in my face and in everybody else's face. If I'm not organically and naturally enjoying the experience myself and socializing, because I am a social person, and hanging out and truly getting what the actual feel of the cruise is, I'm doing a disservice to myself and everybody out there, because how can I go home and talk about what the experience is like if I've never experienced it? Nevertheless, after the conversation started to kind of dwindle down, I would go to the back side of the ship, the aft of the ship, to the sunset bar and go get some footage of the sail away and grab another drink. And that's when the problem started. At that point in time, I was sitting at the bar alone with my drink, minding my own business, and a man approaches me and says that I should go someplace else. And I thought he was joking, honestly. I said, why? As I'm kind of laughing, he says, you and your group are being way too loud. You guys are annoying as hell, and I moved over to this area to get away from all of you. Now, when he said this, I'll be honest with you, I was shocked. I was taken aback because that's when I realized that the words were coming out of his mouth were intentional. He was legitimately serious about what he was saying. So I paused for a minute and I simply replied with, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Enjoy your cruise. I then turned back around and I continued drinking my drink, and he walks away for all of 2 to 3 minutes. I don't know if he went to the bathroom or what. He then comes back with his wife and sits next to me and says, dude, can't you take a hint? Why don't you go somewhere else before you start another annoying conversation with another group of people? I then turned to him and I said, hey, honestly, I'm just enjoying my cruise. I'm minding my own business. I'm not talking to anybody. And you're coming over to a place where people are drinking, they're hanging out, they're meeting for the first time, and there is music playing. If you want some peace and quiet, I would recommend you either go to your balcony in your own room, or you can go to the retreat. By the way, that's the suites within the suites area, and it is a little pricey. However, if you want some peace and quiet and tranquility, if you will, that's where you typically go on a celebrity cruise. Now, at that point in time, I had completely washed my hands of the conversation. I didn't want to further escalate it, so I decided to be the bigger person and move to the other side of the bar. Even as I was getting up, I'm hearing this man sit there and repeatedly say that people are trying to relax and vacation. While that may be true, it is important for all of you out there to understand that people go on a cruise for many different reasons. Some people come to just relax and get a massage and eat some food and go on home. Some people go there to party. Some people go there to make some bad decisions. And by bad, I don't mean the literal sense of it. Some people want to do some adult things and meet some other people. The pineapple people exist. It doesn't matter. The problem with a lot of people that go on cruises is that, one, they tend to take their, mentality and the way they think from their at-home life to the cruise ship. And that's not the way to go about it when you have so many people of so many different demographics and so many ways of thinking on board. When it comes to my particular situation, I have no shame at all in saying that the group that I was with, we were being a little loud at times. They were singing and hugging and dancing, and I don't see anything wrong with that considering the location in which we were at. I could see if we were at, supposedly, let's say a quiet dinner, or we were in the hallways in the middle of the night yelling and screaming, or in the middle of a show. However, considering the context and the location in which all this took place on, to me, it was a non-argument. People can vacation how they want. I already told you guys, I don't like people that are rude, especially to the crew, and I don't like people that cannot mind their own business. If somebody's having a good time, they're not bothering anybody else. It doesn't matter if they are trying to max out their drink package. If they're not being belligerent or vomiting on other people or what have you, that is completely their business. If somebody decides they met somebody and they want to go to the room and bed wrestle with them, I'm not saying I do it. I'm saying in general, I see people gossip and talk about these things as if it bothers them. We are on a cruise for a week, and I would always say it is just enough time. Let's say a week-long cruise, not in this particular case, but a week cruise is enough time to kind of, sort of, but not really get to know the people you are sailing with, and that's if you're having conversations with them. In about 24 to 48 hours, once the cruise has concluded, you are not going to remember who they are, you're not going to remember their name, and also before the cruise started, you didn't know they even existed. The fact that people decide to make drama out of nothing when they have paid upwards of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go on a cruise, to me is the most ridiculous thing that I ever experienced on a cruise. But maybe I'm wrong in this particular situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm very interested to see what all of you have to say. Hit that like button on your way out, subscribe if you haven't already, and know as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.